Rox Risers, I'm impressed, and I think it was a good move. So I'm very pleased with this modification. So, hey guys, it's Alan, the Fireman 1028, and today we're going to begin the process of turning the ergos of our 2022 KTM 390 Adventure from that of a modified Duke 390 to a proper off-road / touring bike. The first step in doing that is going to be installing a set of Rox Risers onto this. These are made for the 390 Duke as well as the 390 Adventure. Before we get started here, if you guys see anything that you like, please hit the comment, please hit the like button, comment, and the ultimate compliment for me would be to subscribe to our channel. We've got a ton of content coming out, not only for our 390 Adventure, but for our Transup 750. We got another bike that we aren't talking about yet. We got our T-dubs, we got our ATVs. I mean, all kinds of cool stuff that we're going to be making a lot of content on, as well as a mystery bike that's might be related to this brand right here, coming up in the next couple months. So let's first thing we're going to do before we get started is let's see what the stock position looks like on the bike. So as you can see, the stock position is in a kind of a lean forward position. These handlebars are very low. Even in KTM's promotional footage for this bike here, their pro rider is riding kind of in a leaned over position like this because the stock position, the handlebars are so incredibly low. So our Rox Risers should be able to take care of that without any issues. I have heard issues of the clutch cable not having enough slack, maybe having to reroute that. We'll see about that as we go through the process, but let's get started. So again, if the clutch cable does not need to be rerouted or it changed out, this should be a pretty simple install. The handlebar clamp comes off right here, the triple trig clamp. We're using the stock one because it's a two-piece. But anyway, the Rox Risers are going to mount to this part here, and then the handlebar is going to sit inside the cradle of the Rox Riser, and then the clamps are going to go back on top of it there. So again, the clutch cable might be an issue, but we will just have to see. This should be a pretty simple install. The only thing we should need will be a number 3, which is to take off our GoPro mount, our Rox Riser mount, and a number 5, which is what the bolts are on the caps here. All right, so our first step is we're going to take our number 5 Allen wrench and we're going to break these guys loose. Might want to hold the front wheel to keep it turning while we break these guys loose. All right, so once you get the screws broke loose, you want to pull the caps off and just gently sit your handlebar aside. Try to leave it as upright as possible, as you do not want your brake fluid to leak out. Or make sure your reservoir cap is nice and tight before you begin this process. All right, guys, so here is your Rox Riser. These are not the ones that have the vibration dampener on them. I didn't think we needed them. I was incorrect. These bolts here take a number 6 as well. So what we'll do is we'll take these caps off. And that gives you just this piece here. This piece is going to sit in the cradle right here. Do check this bolt here, make sure it's nice and tight. It's a number 8, it's tight. So we'll sit the cradle here. This is going to go back installed. Now these are a little tricky to install because of how the Rox Riser goes. So we're just going to loose fit everything for right now. Then again, we'll take our stock piece, Set that in the cradle there. Start tightening those bolts down. And again, there's very little tolerance there or clearance, so what we'll have to do is the final adjustments on these bottom cap screws will probably have to be with a small, 90-degree Allen wrench. Right, so all we're doing right now is just getting them just tight enough to hold them in place. Then what we'll do is we'll take our handlebar and attempt to sit it in place. My GoPro mount holder, handlebar holder, is going to have to go for right now. All right, so now what we'll do, again, we'll attempt to get this guy on here. There we go, just like that. Just like that. Now again, I see our clutch cable is definitely tight, so we may have to reroute that guy. Instead of having him route behind the triple tree, let him come in front of the triple tree to give a little bit more slack and more clearance right here. So let's do that before we go any further. I'll show you here on the back side. So the clutch cable. So the clutch cable's here, and it currently routes back behind the triple tree right here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to disconnect our clutch cable, run it in front of the behind the triple tree, and then reconnect it right here. That should give us the clearance that we need to have full function of our clutch lever. All right, guys, so here we are. We've got just loosely, we've got the caps put on there, the Rox Riser caps put on with the original caps holding the Rox Risers in place. So what we had to do is we had to take the clutch cable out of the little chase that it ran in back behind here and reroute it up this way here. Now, we'll see if that gives us enough. I don't have really any slack in our clutch itself, so really it's going to be a test ride to see if that gives us enough slack. If not, you can get a clutch cable from a Royal Enfield Himalayan, and it's the perfect length to match. So we'll have to do a test ride first to see if our clutch completely disengages, to see how that works. So far, what I see with the risers, I really like the rise and the adjustability that this gives us. Like I said, what we'll have to do is we'll have to tighten down these bottom caps, and then we'll have to kind of rotate it to get to the other side there. So that'll be a little challenging. Then we'll tighten these down. Then we'll take it for a test ride, and we'll see how everything plays out. So let's rotate this guy forward now. And let's tighten these caps down. Then we'll have to rotate it. This is going to be the tricky part here, is getting these lower screws tightened while getting these uppers. Might need some trickeration to get that done. So this is not our final position right here. We just want to tighten these down right now just to keep the bar from moving around. Again, that's just to keep it from moving around there. I'll rotate that up a little bit. Okay, so we might have to get a real fine we go. And then after that, we can go back and just kind of tighten it down a little bit. Okay, now, so we got the lower caps tightened, and we got the upper caps just a little bit. So let's do this before we do any final adjustments. Let's take our stand, move it back over here, and let's see what kind of adjustments this gives us. We'll take our number 6 with us. Sit on the bike, and already I can tell that seating position is a lot better. Before, my hands were down here in the stock position, so now we're much better. Still not perfect. I think our foot pegs need some work, and we've got a plan for that too. So before we tighten down our handlebars all together, let's loosen these up, get our final adjustments where exactly we want our handlebar. Our little KTM logo is kind of dead center right there. That feels good right there. Again, still not the final tighten down, but just something to kind of set them in place. So there we go. So there's our new upright seating position. Again, that is a huge difference. You do have more availability to lower the Rox Risers and tilt it more back. Right now they're kind of facing right here. Here, I'll show you from this angle here. So right now, as you can see, our Rox Riser is kind of almost in a not quite vertical position, but pretty close to it. With some different Allen keys, what we could do is actually kind of rotate that more, because right now it's kind of in a upright fashion. Bring it more down this way to face, put the riser facing directly to me. That'll allow the bar to come towards me a little bit more. In this position, it gives it a little more vertical height. So, all right guys, so here's our finished product. Here are the Rox Risers. You can see how they mount to the stock plate there with the stock caps. Then the Rox Riser comes up. The handlebar sits in the cradle for the Rox Riser. There's the new caps. So what we had to do is we had to disconnect our clutch cable here, and we had to run it this way. We had to run it underneath and through here. Now again, we still don't know if that's going to be enough clearance. Again, I don't have any slack in the cable, but I really don't think we had much in there prior to that. So we're going to try that out. Everything else was enough. It's snug, but everything else is enough under full turn. No issues anywhere else. So we'll take it for a test ride and we'll see how it does. All right, guys. So here's our first ride on the 390 Adventure after the installation of the Rox Risers. Immediately the seating position is so much more comfortable. Having the bars, up and back a good bit. I don't have the exact measurements, but having the bars up and back. Try a quick shifter. Up and back make a huge difference. The bike is a lot more comfortable. Standing position, it's not perfect, but it is definitely a lot more manageable. But just the overall riding position feels fantastic. I'm in almost a complete upright position, so that was exactly what we were looking for with that modification. clutch travel. We were able to do some adjusting to it, so let's do some manual shifting to see how our clutch is and how our clutch engages. We'll turn around here, head back towards the office. So let's check our engagement of our clutch. Yeah, engagement feels just fine. Oh yeah. Yeah, that worked out perfect, being able to route it right there. That worked out perfect. So yeah, this seating position is I mean, a lot better. So again, I'm almost in a completely changed really not really the whole rider triangle, but the upper half of that triangle. And I really even could move the bars further back towards me if I wanted to be even further upright. But I think this is a good position here. A good position here, because like I said, we're going to be riding the bike off-road quite a bit. Again, when the stock, we were kind of leaned over like this, you can see that. Now we are completely upright, and it is very comfortable. Stock windscreen still sucks, but I didn't expect that to change. Rox Risers, I'm impressed, and I think it was a good move. So I'm very pleased with this modification. So this is the first of 3 modifications that we're going to do to the riding position. So step 1 was Rox Risers. Step 2 is we're going to play with the seats. We're going to try different seats out, and we're going to see what comes about with that, and see which one works the best. We have the stock seat, which we have here. We have the KTM ergos seat, which we have, that'll be the next thing that we try out. And then we have the KTM comfort seat. And then to further complicate things, we have it's a mesh cover that goes on top of the seat, which actually would provide even more height and comfort to the seat. So again, we're going to play with those next time we do this. We're going to play with the seats, and then we'll do the pegs. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with us. If you saw anything that you like, please give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, subscribe to the channel. We got tons of 390 adventure content, and TW200 content, and gosh, Transalp and Recon 250, and our trails are opening up here soon, so we're going to be getting into the off-road riding, and man, we got so much cool stuff that's coming up. So please subscribe, hang out with us, check out some of our other videos. I'll link them here at the very end of the video. But thank you guys, God bless, roll tide, and remember, tomorrow needs you. See you guys.